Welcome to a new Smart Money video, and today we're going to look at how I grew and built a multi-million-dollar business. This is part 2 and I will link part 1 in the description. The goal of this video is to share learnings and lessons from this wonderful adventure that I had in starting and building this business. And today we're going to look at some of the things which made it hard. Things which make business very difficult, and hopefully you're able to learn from these experiences and from these lessons so that you can make your business easier and work better. Part 2, I've called it the Valley. Things I wish I had have changed sooner, but I didn't. So what are those 3 things that we are going to cover? Number 1 is lack of processes, how we got into that situation and why it is a problem. Number 2 is cash flow management and communication of finances with staff and communication of strategy with finance. And number 3 was my immaturity as a leader, or rather what I did badly and how I was failing as a leader, and hopefully you can learn from this so that you don't make those same mistakes that I did. So lesson number 1, focus on the processes and focus on improving them. It was the lack of processes. How did we get there? Well, the business started to grow rapidly and we saw an explosion of sales. Too much, in fact, for us to handle. We then looked at our business model and decided instead of continuing to hire more seniors and only seniors, we would start to hire more juniors to take the load off the seniors so that the business could operate and become even more profitable. This sounded like a good idea, and certainly it was. However, we didn't realize how bad our processes and systems were, which meant when the juniors came into the business, basically stuff just didn't work anymore. Projects could not move from one stage to another, and the seniors continually had to come in and rescue the project. Now, they weren't rescuing the project because the juniors were bad or incompetent in any way. It was the business's lack of processes which made it difficult. They just didn't have the experience, and nor could they have had it, otherwise they would be a senior and they wouldn't have fitted the job description. So logically, this is where the problem came in. Now, we really had to focus down and fix the processes. We had to take time out of doing projects to work on the business, to work on the systems, to improve the handoffs, how a project moved from one stage to another. And in fact, we found several key people who were superb at this, and they went through different parts of the business and radically improved what we were doing. Now that is a fantastic outcome for us. It could have completely destroyed the business had we left it unchecked. So the learning I hope you're seeing is that in your business, even if it is run by seniors and it is primarily consulting or high-level service, start to look at what processes you can put in place and how you can structure and order the flow of information or the service or the product from one stage to another, so that when you hit that explosive growth, you are ready and you're able to scale without this pain. The next thing which hit roughly about the same time was cash flow and the management thereof. Now, as a relatively new managing director, I lacked the skills and ability to handle this. And so I really just pushed it off onto the finance team. And there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself, except instead of communicating the strategy and the tactics that we were going to employ as a company and the financial consequences of that to the finance team, I kind of kept that separate with the commercial leadership team. And so we had the commercial team doing one thing and the finance team doing another thing. This segregation and divide was very unhealthy, and it caused a number of mistakes and problems in the way we operated our business. And so my learning from this is that one needs to ensure they're communicating the tactics and the strategy and all of those outcomes with the finance team so that they are well aware of what we're trying to achieve, what we are doing, and where we are going. Not only that, but we have to reciprocate it back to the commercial team and communicate all the finances. We need complete transparency on the finances. Now, this is pretty difficult. If a company is struggling to reach break even, or if there are cash flow problems and salaries might not be paid, you have to deal with it quite sensitively, and you need to understand which numbers to show and which numbers not to show. Because if you show the wrong numbers and you destroy the company's morale and everyone leaves, you don't have a company, and that is far worse than a divide between finance and the commercial side. and the operations. So you need to find a balance, but look at those numbers, find out what you can share, and start sharing as much as you can, because this will empower the commercial team to think in a way that is in harmony with the financial state of the business. And the other sharing to the finance enables the finance business to think in harmony with what is the commercial strategy of the business. That reconciles a lot. So hopefully those two are quite helpful. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, what was my mistake? What was the thing that I did that really messed it up because of my immaturity? Well, I'd invented several world firsts from a technological and digital point of view. I transferred the success from this domain of inventing through to leadership and said, well, I'm really good at inventing. I'm really good at doing that. I must be good at leadership. The skills are not transferable. I was a terrible leader. I remember one incident quite clearly where I was speaking to a senior staff member and they called me out on it and said, Brad, you know, in our last meeting, you said that you would do the following. Here we are today, a few weeks later, and you've done exactly the opposite. You can't do this. It's bad leadership. But reflecting on it, that moment changed the way I led. I installed a value of integrity and honesty in everything that I do, because it means that I do what I say and what I say I do. It's really important. And so the value of integrity and the value of honesty came to the top. It meant I had to grow up as a person. I had to have those hard and difficult conversations when people were not performing, because I had a value of honesty. And because of integrity, I owed it to them. I owed it to be transparent and to share important feedback. What changed in me was that I realized I could still encourage and help people by adopting a servant leadership style, finding what is best in them, and giving them opportunity to use their skills and their passion in that particular area. And that was far better than just letting people do whatever they wanted to do, and far better than simply just saying yes to every request. Now, what do we learn in general from this, and what can you learn? It is to seek feedback from everyone in the business, from those who you report to and those who report to you. So if you have various different shareholders, get their feedback. Get financial feedback. Get feedback from HR. Get feedback from product, from operations, from technical, from solutions, digital, and IT. Get feedback from all different levels, from seniors all the way through to the juniors. Because it's going to show you gaps. It's going to show you places where you're messing it up. And that feedback, if you take it on board, and if you find a way to productively implement it into your life, is going to revolutionize how you lead and revolutionize the business you lead. I hope that you enjoyed this video today. The next video is going to be on the grind of starting a business. What to do when the sales don't come in, when the people are fighting, and when you are focusing on the wrong things. Here is a link to part 1 in case you missed that. Please remember to subscribe to the channel as well as share this video with someone, because together we can create an abundance.